All right, this is our test review that you are definitely supposed to be looking at online, so please follow along with me. It says the graph shows the money earned from selling candy at a Galveston shop as it relates to the year. This is your scatter plot. Based on this data, complete the following statement. As the years in Galveston increase, well, as you can tell, it's definitely a positive correlation. So positive correlation means if this one's increasing, then the other should also be increasing. So as the years in Galveston increase, the candy sales should also be increasing. So be careful, we're not talking about number of customers. We're talking about the money earned should be increasing. B. Which of the following shows the weakest correlation? The weakest correlation means that scatter plot, those dots are not going to be as linear as they could be. So the weakest correlation looks like it would be C. These two are very strong. This one is not that strong, but this one is the weakest correlation. So your answer should be C. The graph shows the money earned from selling ice cream at a Galveston restaurant as it relates to the high temperature for the day. What type of correlation exists between the temperature and sales of ice cream? So they're asking you what type of correlation. It can either be a positive correlation, a negative correlation, or it can be a no correlation. It's not asking us if it's a causation, it just wants to know what type of correlation. So remember, if it's pointing towards the sun, if the dots are going up and towards the sun, that means it should be positive. So anything, these two don't say positive, so I would cross those out. And we have to just figure out if we think it's weak or if it's strong. I would say that data is more strong than it is weak, so I would definitely go with D. Strong, positive correlation. Which function represents a proportional situation? Another name for proportional should be direct variation. Remember, we did make a foldable for that, a blue foldable in our notebooks. However, direct variation, that means, this one is not direct variation because this +4 messes it up. Remember, direct variation should only have y equals kx. So we're looking for the one that represents a proportional situation. B, this right here, since it's curved, it's also not direct variation. I'm going to have to test this one in a second. How do I test? Remember, in order to test and see if it's direct variation, you need to be taking each y divided by x, and it must be the same thing all the way down. 5 divided by 1 is 5. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 15 divided by 3 is 5, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. Since they are all the same, that means it definitely is direct variation. However, this one, does it pass the origin? It does not pass the origin, which means it is not direct variation. All right. If y varies directly with x and y equals 18 when x equals 12, what is the constant of proportionality? There's that big fancy word, constant of proportionality. So it's telling us it is direct variation. The steps are on the board. The first thing you need to do is make yourself a table with the information it gives you. If y varies directly with x and y is 18 when x is 12, what is the constant of proportionality? First step, put it in a table. Second step, find the k. You know how to find the k. That is y divided by x. So if you put it in your calculator, 18 divided by 12, you will definitely find which of these is your k value, and you must put the y on top, x on the bottom. Y in first, x in second. 18 divided by 12. The mass, m, of a substance varies directly, keyword, with the volume, v, of the substance. If v equals 50 when m is 100, what is the value of m when v equals 40? This is very similar to the one above it, and like we have the poster in the classroom. Make yourself a chart, but instead of x and y, look, they're using v and m. So let's use v and m. We need to set ourselves a table. V is 50 when M is 100. Then it says, what is the value of M? So we don't know the M, but we do know the next V is 40. So we set ourselves up a table. And next we need to find the K. The K is going to equal what would be the Y divided by the X. Remember, it's always the right side, which is Y, divided by X. So the K is 100 divided by 50. That gives us, put it in your calculator, 100 divided by 50. That should give you a 2. That 2 is a part of the equation that we need to use. If we put this equation in your calculator, in your y equals, just 2x in the y equals, press second graph, then you need to tell me who's paired up with the 40. When x is 40, what is your y? Or when v is 40, what is your m? So please do it that way, and you need to find the answer for that one. One measure of form for a runner is stride rate, defined as the number of steps per second. The graph shown gives the average stride rate of several top female runners versus the speed. The parent function y equals x is graphed on the same grid. What changes to the parent function need to be made to create a trend line for this data? Notice this here. It is a bad trend line because the data is here. So what do we need to do? We kept talking about that. If you need to tilt or rotate the line, that means you're messing with the slope. The slope means you are either tilting or rotating. And we're definitely going to have to tilt that. I'm going to use my paper clip as a help. So if this is my trend line, I definitely will have to tilt this. Which way am I going to tilt it? Am I going to increase it or am I going to decrease it? It looks like I definitely need to decrease my slope. However, if I only decrease it, it doesn't still match up with the dots. I then need to bring it all the way up, which means I'm increasing the y-intercept. So first I had to decrease the slope. Then I had to increase the y-intercept. So please take a moment to figure out which one of these says that you have to rotate it down, that's decreasing the slope, and then moving the whole thing up, which is increasing the y-intercept. Remember, you can pause the video at any time if you need to. A gas station earns $108 a day. The total amount of earnings varies directly with the number of days. Once again, it's telling you it is a direct variation. What is the total earnings the gas station earns in 5 days? Once again, make yourself a nice little table. It tells you the gas station earns, this is our money. Remember, time is always the X. For this one day, it earned $801. It says the total amount of earning varies directly. That's how we know we could put it in a table and use those steps. First step is to make your table. What is the total earnings the gas station earns in 5 days? We don't know. Second step, go ahead and find the K. Since it told you it varies directly, you can definitely find the K. The K is going to be take your Y divided by your X. So that's 801 divided by 1. Oh, that's going to give us a pretty big number, which is 801. Then the third step is write yourself an equation that you can put in your calculator using the K. That's our equation that we need to help us figure out who's paired up with the 5th day. In 5 days, how much total earnings will they have? Put this in your Y equals 801 with your X. That's your equation. Then press second graph and simply look for where it says x equals 5. Which one of these values is the number paired up with x equals 5? You can pause the video if you need to. The weight and length of a certain species of fish are recorded on the graph shown. Based on the trend in the data, what would be a good estimate for the weight of a fish that is 7 centimeters long? If you look at this trend, it's definitely positive, pointing towards my sun. So, and it wants to know at 7 centimeters, what would the weight of the fish be? Notice at 7, it's missing a dot. So one way to do it would be to definitely look at A. Would it be 12? Could it be way up here at 12? Maybe. It looks good because it looks like it's flowing with the dots, but let's make sure it's not 6. B is 6. That means, would that point go back down? No, because it's going to continue to go with the trend. Could it be at 10? If the fish is 7 centimeters long, would it be up at 10? No, it's not going to be equal to that one. And then 7, 7, it's not going to go back down. So it's definitely right here at 12 because that's going with the flow of the rest of the trend. All right. For number 10 and 11, you need to use the steps on the board because it wants you to find the R values. You need to follow the steps that are in the classroom to find your R value. So if you're doing this at home, you can wait till you get here tomorrow where you'll be able to use the calculator. Or if you need to pause the video, do it now. And you're in class, go ahead and do it now. Find your R value. Which situation best represents causation? Causation keyword is cause. Which variable is causing the other to increase or decrease? When the number of daylight hours increase, the number of traffic accidents decrease. It's saying the actual daylight is actually causing traffic accidents to decrease. I don't know about that one. That one sounds kind of weird. Let's move on. A person's age. When a person's age increases, their shoe size increases. So they're saying just because you turn 10 years old, all of a sudden your shoe is going to be up. And then when you turn 11, your shoe size is going to increase. I don't know about that one either. I wouldn't say it's B. When the number of items sold increases, the number of money earned increases. This C right here is saying when you sell more items, it is causing your money to definitely increase as you're selling more items. That one sounds like the best causation so far. When the temperature decreases, the number of house fires increases. That's definitely not happening. I would definitely say the most causation, the best causation on this one is going to be C. Talk to me if you feel different. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pause it for now, but you keep going.